How y'all doing, One Step family? My name is Jahleel Brooks. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm not supposed to be here. Had a decent childhood. Elementary school was normal for real. A little later in elementary school, we was going house from house. My dad left for a couple of years. I was in a homeless shelter for a little period of time. I remember I used to catch taxis to school, and people used to ask me why I used to get taxis to school. I used to lie and be like, my mom just couldn't bring me to school today and stuff like that. That continued on for a couple months, and then we got a townhouse in the Brooklyn area, and I did not go to school. I was running the streets, doing things I shouldn't be doing, smoking weed, getting into trouble, things of that nature. And, just not having no guidance, no role model for real. So, just being young and dumb in that time. That continued on for like all of 6th grade and half of 7th grade. I was failing bad because I never went. Halfway through like 7th grade, I ended up moving with my father. High school years when all the problems started to happen with my dad. We just kept getting into it. Mentally, it was bad. Physically, it was bad. It was just a lot of trauma going on between us. I ended up working, and I used work and school as my escape from the house. Smoking and stuff is how I dealt with my problems because I never truly faced them at this time. So I was just dealing with them the best way I could. And for me, that was just smoking weed. It really doesn't help. It just helps you kind of ease your problems and escape from them, not necessarily deal with them. And that's just what I was going through at the time. The remainder of my high school year, me and my father just kept getting into it. So I tried to not be home as much as I could for real. We never really talked or had a relationship when I was living there. It was more of just a cordial speak when I get home, speak before I go to work, let them know when I'm leaving, things like that, because I didn't like to sit around and like have like moments or try and talk to them because it never went good. I remember I went to an Ocean City trip with him, my little brother, my dad, his wife, and her son, so my brother-in-law. And the trip was kind of iffy for real. There was no good times, and I was taking a shower talking to my friend Evan about how I feel like no matter what I do, I can't please him or make him proud of me because it's always just so much. And then I ended up having a conversation with him, and we got into it, and we got into an altercation over his wife. I remember I did run away for 6 months. I was staying with one of my brother's friends and then my uncle for a couple months, and then my dad ended up coming back to get me. I was just battling a lot of like internal things, also like physical things with my parent and, mental abuse, things like that. I just didn't know how to navigate or handle these things. So at the time, like I said, I was just smoking because I was still young. I had kind of God in my life, but I didn't fully give God my heart. So he wasn't really like, he's always there for me, but I wasn't giving him the opportunity to be there for me because I was still young and not knowing how to like fully be into God and give him my heart and just devote my everything to him. Come like 11th, 12th grade year, for real, things just kept going downhill as far as me and my father's relationship. I ended up losing about $1,700 that I could never get back from him. Coming graduation year in Maryland, we do senior week when we graduate, which is the week. So as soon as we graduate, we go to Ocean City for a week. I already planned that with some friends, and we already paid for the Airbnb and got a hotel. No, we got an Airbnb. My bad. And we got a rental. That's what it was. So I went on that trip, but prior to that, I already packed up most of my stuff and got it out. So when I went on that trip, I enjoyed those 5 days as much as I could. But a lot of people didn't know that me and Devin didn't have a place to go back to because he was kind of in the same situation with his parent. So we enjoyed that trip as much as we could, and when we came back, we were just struggling. Like, we were sleeping in the rental until we could get it back, staying at my uncle's some days, and just finding places to sleep because we didn't like being a bother to people. One week, we were just in hotels, paying for hotels continuously, and it was hard for real. We really didn't have anything. Like, we were just dealing with a lot of things. We were young. We didn't have any guidance or no help for real. Shout out to my moms, and my moms came through a lot getting us the hotels, putting it in her name, and we just paid her for that, shit like that. It just kept going down. I was dealing with depression, I was sad, I was angry, I had some hopelessness feelings for real. I was still trying to work a lot, but where I was staying and where I worked, I had to commute through the bus, and the bus, I had to leave like hours or two before work. But I just made it happen for real. and I did what I was supposed to do and made things shake. And meanwhile, through all of this though, me and Devin was close. We kind of had similar problems, but his was more with his mom, mine was with my dad. That's how we got along so well, because we had a lot in common, for real. We just did a lot to get away from our parents, and that's how we ended up in so much trouble. Let me get some water in me real quick, my bad. Make sure y'all drink y'all water, alright? We ended up situating a housing thing a little bit after the hotels. We were able to get like a little townhouse for real, and that kind of made things easier. I was still working out in the Millersville area, so I was still commuting until I got my first job at Target. And I stayed there for a good period of time. I got my first car through there. I learned credit and stuff like that. I was still messing up my credit and things like that because I was still young. Nobody was really teaching me these things, so I had to learn it all by myself. But I made it work out. On my first car, I had some fun. I got into some trouble with my car, got a hefty ticket, ended up having to get a second job at a live casino. I was working with the drop and count department, and that was the department. So we were pulling all the money from the slot machines, table games, poker. It was it was physically demanding, mentally demanding, because the shift is from 1:45 to like 10, but you really don't get off till everything is done. And we're running like $10+ million a day. Like, that's how much money we were running, cash and everything. It was hefty. It was a lot of money. And there was a lot of stuff we had to get done, a lot of protocols we had to follow and things like that. I was doing that. I was working both jobs. So I was getting off at like 10, 11 from the casino, go home, sleep for like 2 hours, to wake up and go to Target to 2 to 10 and repeat the cycle for like a few months. Then I got tired of it. Like, I wasn't really pouring into myself or pouring into God. So my spiritual life, my physical life, and my mental state were terrible. They were just downright terrible, while still battling traumas and depressions and things that I was going through that I never dealt with, from dealing with my father, childhood experiences, things like that. So I'm still like carrying a bunch of weight. Like, I had a backpack filled with just rocks that I couldn't let go because I didn't know the steps to take to let it go. And I was just living day to day. I wouldn't even say living as a term. I was more of just surviving, because I couldn't really even live because I was just working, and not even really dealing with my problems. So after a while, I ended up quitting Target. And within quitting Target, I went full-time at the casino. And when I went full-time at the casino, I was working 5 days a week, but I usually had to pick up shifts because we were only making $15.75, and I'm paying for rent, water bill, internet, BG&E, car payment, car insurance, things like that. So it's like I was working about 60 to 65 hours a week, which is a lot for one person, because I'm working 12, 14 hours a day. I go in at 1:45 a.m. Sometimes I get off at like 2 to 3. And I did that for about 3 to 6 months. It was just hard for me, man. I can't lie. And we all have our experiences and our things. Everybody has a rough patch. And that's kind of why I'm here talking to y'all today, to show y'all like everybody has their problems. You just got to know how to navigate and deal with your problems, because if you don't face them, your problems will overcome it, and they will drag you out and beat you down until you eventually face them and get over them. What was it? I think it was like May of 2024, like May of 2024, or like April, May. I got a check, and I was at the job sitting in the parking garage, and I was paying on my bills. The check was 1,300, 120 something hours. The check was gone. I was frustrated. I was tired. I was beat down. And I texted my friend Devin. I was like, I just can't keep doing this, man. I'm working so hard. I'm barely living check to check. Like, I'm just out here surviving. I was tired. I was fed up. So me and him communicated some more. We figured out a day that I was free. He took me to a nature walk in one of my favorite spots till this day in the Towson area. It was beautiful views. There was nice little lake. There was trees and stuff. If we could find some pictures and stuff, we may be able to drop them into the video for y'all to see, or shout out the location. Still one of my top places. We talked. He put me on game about investing in DoorDash. I signed up for a DoorDash account that same day. I think I got approved 12 to 24 hours, and I started dashing. Dashing was good. I was making good money. I did that for 6 months, but in the process of the first month, I was still working at the casino. But as I was making this good money from dashing and not doing too much work, I ended up putting in my 2 weeks notice, but my body would just stop waking up. Like I was trying, I had my alarms and everything like that, but my body would just stop waking up. So I ended up getting fired like my last week with my 2 weeks, and even though I was using sick leave and thing like that. But yeah, hold on, wait, quick water break. So I ended up getting fired after like 1 week into my 2 weeks because of calling out, because I wasn't waking up. My body was like, man, bro, we out here making 200 a day off of DoorDash. We're not gonna keep going and slaving for 15.75 an hour. Like I said, like April, May, all the way out to October, I got into some more trouble because I was still being young and dumb. I got pulled over and I got like $1,700 in tickets. It was hefty, and I'm on my provisionals at the time. So being on your provisionals, every moving violation you get after the first one's a warning, the second one's a month, the third one's 3 months if I'm not mistaken, and everyone after that is 6 months. So I'm fighting suspensions and court cases, paying lawyer fees, stuff like that. Overly stressed. $500 to the lawyer, had to get the lawyer twice because of different court cases that I was battling. Paying these $150 per hearing, because when I was paying the hearing, it pushed it back 2 to 3 months, which gave me more time with my license to stack money from the DoorDash and find another job. But I ended up missing a hearing paper, and within doing that, I think I had $450 in the hearings, but since I missed one, my suspension activated October 8th, and I was trying to battle it. And October 8th was the day I lost my license. I was out door dashing, and something in my body and soul told me to check the MVN, check my license status. I checked it. I found out it was suspended. I was distraught. I was just upset. I was hurt. I called my friend Devin, which most realize I say my friend, that's like my brother. We have a brotherhood. We grew up damn near all our life together. We've been through everything together. We work together, man. We work off each other together. We push each other, man, to be the greatest we can be. I called him, telling him what was going on. I was upset, crying a little bit because I just was like, I couldn't believe this, man. After everything I did, I missed one thing, and then it just set me up, and I put all this money already into the hearings. And he pulled up on me. I parked my car somewhere. We went out, chilled. We played some basketball, just wind down a little bit for real. And then he followed me home, so I made it home safe. I already was applying for this job and working on this job, but I could not get in because I already had a trip planned for late October. I was going to Deep Creek with my brother and some friends. So I couldn't do the classes to get into the job, so I had to wait till late November to do the classes. But when I did the classes, Thanksgiving break happened, so when I got my first check, it was little. But I had an emergency savings account with $3,500, so that held me over pretty much all the way between October and December. And I'm blessed that I had that and I made that, because it really paid out and helped me out a lot. I would say, like I said, my turning point though was just like I was still doing all this. I was drained and stuff. My turning point was I looked in the mirror and was just tired of my shit. I was tired of working hard. And that's why I started dashing, because I was working so hard and not getting nothing. And I'm not saying like you don't work hard, but it was like most people know we're all in the same situation. Most of us are just surviving, man. We're living paycheck to paycheck because the economy is fucked up. Everything is so high, inflation and things of that nature. Like we're barely surviving. Groceries, I spend $200 to $300 on groceries alone, and that's just for myself. Like it's hard, and it's not just me; it's for everybody. And we're just doing our best we can to survive. And I was just tired of it, so that's what made me initially start dashing. But then when I lost my license, I got reset it, and then on top of that, I have no license while still paying for a car payment and car insurance. It was hefty, man. It was so hard on my mind, my body, and my soul. I beat myself up so much, some wouldn't even know. And I had I had friends and brothers, like saying they were more upset with me than I am because of I knew better and stuff like that, which I did. But like I said, I was being young and dumb, caught up in the moment, and I can't change what I did, but I can only learn and grow from it, and which I did now. But it's like, someone understand, it's frustrating. You have a car you look at, you can't drive, you're paying car insurance, car payment. My car insurance was high as is before the tickets. And the car payment with the insurance, and I can't use the car. I gotta find rides for jobs. I gotta find rides to doctors, work, taking my dog to the vet. It was challenging. I beat myself up daily, and I still kind of do a little bit, but it was a sign from God, and I don't know what reason I lost my license, but it was for a reason that I'm going to use and capitalize the most, whether that was just protecting me from being done with my car, giving me more time to focus on myself and God. Because in the midst of everything, I had a conversation with God. I was like, I just want more time for me. I want to build a relationship with you, work on my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual. And then next thing I knew, I didn't have my license, but it was a blessing in disguise, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So October to December, like I said, I was living off my emergency savings for I got a job. I went on the trip, but I enjoyed it the most I could. But with everything going on, I was kind of not really there, if that makes sense. January came around. I'm still smoking a little bit, still kind of stuck. Late January, I was like in the mirror a lot, looking at myself. I was just disgusted. Not even like physically wise, like just who I was becoming, where I'm at, things I was doing, the foolishness stuff. Like I was just disgusted with who I am as a person and how I became. And I have a little brother that's my world, that I'm his role model and looked up to me. And I was like, I know I gotta make a change, not just for me, but for the people that look up to me, the people that are around me, and the people that I'm supposed to be touching and helping out in life. So February comes around. I tell myself, I said, this is it. I'm going to do a 90-day run. Not just money-wise. Like, man, I'm doing straight God, straight workouts, eating better, all that. Like, this is the 90-day run where I'm investing in me, and it's time to take myself and turn it around and really become who I'm supposed to be. So I do my 90-day run. I couldn't make it to the gym, but that was no excuse for me. Before I had everything, I was doing free body exercises, push-ups, sit-ups, free body squats, things of that nature. Things worked out for me, and I was able to get a nice little workout dumbbell set from Walmart for like $100. I got 5s, 10s, 15s, 25s, 30s, and then I got some 45s. I got me a bench, and I worked out every day, twice a day. I worked out in the morning, and I worked out when I got off from work. And I stayed consistent. I was eating good, eating fruit. I was juicing fruit. I didn't want to say juicing and people think I'm on steroids, because I did do 100 to 165 in my 90-day run. I got huge, big gains. But I was juicing, so I was cutting up fruit, juicing that. And that was that time I just invested in myself. Me and God got close. I just was going straight. Bible every day, 7 days a week, working out 5 days a week. And I started that in February, so it was February, March, April. I ended it in April, but I didn't necessarily stop. Like, this is my best friend. I keep this wherever I go. And I'm proud of myself because I'm almost 200 days straight on my Bible. 200 days. Like I said, I'm a big brother. Like, I got somebody that's looking up to me. I gotta be on point. I gotta show them what it's like to be a young man, to handle priorities and handle your responsibilities and things of that nature. And another big one personally for me is just what keeps me truly locked in is that I look back and I ask myself, do I want to go back to where I was? Do I want to be who I used to be? And every time I ask myself that is no. So that's my daily reminder. That's what keeps me locked in every day. I wake up at 3:45 a.m. I do my verse of the day. I do my daily prayer. And then I like to do 2 tablespoons of honey and a protein bar. And I go to the gym. I work out between 4 and 5:30. I come home. I literally freshen up real quick and I go straight to work. I'm at work at 6. I handle detailing business, as y'all can see, which is my own business. And then my brother has a mechanic business, so I also help with that. So that's why I go to the gym in the morning. But it's also like a mental challenge for myself. Like, I don't like waking up early. I don't like running. So I challenge myself to do things that I don't like to do. So that's why I wake up extremely early. I run a lot. I run about 2 to 4 times a week. I don't run too much because of the fact that I'm trying to build more mass and body weight on me. So my cardio is still there, but most times it's like walking. But I run like 2 to 3 times a week, and I try to do a couple miles a day. I stay consistent Monday through Friday. I meal prep. I eat on a schedule. I eat 4 to 6 meals a day, all healthy meals. Non-fat yogurt, granola, honey, and fruit in my yogurt. I eat a lot of tuna fish because a lot of people know 1 can is 30 grams of protein, low calories. I eat chicken breast. I eat ground beef. I buy 10 pounds of 93.7, so that's 93 lean and 7% fat. I get steak and ribs at times. I do a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. And I just keep myself disciplined. I keep myself locked in, and that's just how I stay good. I got a dog. My dog is like my best friend. Me and my dog, we do our walks in the morning. I walk her on my break. I walk her after work. So that's another thing that keeps me physically active. One step became a lifestyle for me because, like I said, just my lifestyle and some of the things I told y'all, to keep it brief so I didn't say too much, but some of the things I told y'all that I went through, I lost a good father figure, so I didn't have no guidance. I was alone. I felt hopeless, stuck, and I was just depressed, fighting mental illness and things of that. And as being a man, you can't talk to nobody. You're not supposed to cry, so you got to deal with your problems yourself. So it became a lifestyle for me because this was something recently, like I said, in 2025, when I locked in, this is something that I eat, breathe, and slept. This is something that I love. And I was just sitting down. I was like, God really blessed me. Like, even everything that I went through, He blessed me. He gave me a good mindset. He gave me good friends. He gave me good people to surround myself with. And He gave me a great, great hunger of knowledge. And that's why this is a lifestyle for me, because I know what it's like to not have no role model, no guidance. And it took me 2 years to perfect some of these things. And I'm not asking nobody to pay me. The only thing you got to give me is your time. And I want to be able to teach things like spiritual, business management, credit, real estate, investing, physical health, mental health. I want to help people get into God. I want to help people fix their credit and get their credit together. I want to help people, if they have a passion, an idea of their own business, I want to help people elevate that. I want to help people just all around become better in any aspect or category they want to be better. And like I said, I'm doing this all from just the heart and from God, because I was blessed with all this and all this stuff. And I know what it's like to not have anybody. And that's just why I'm here today telling y'all my story, because I just want y'all to know y'all aren't alone. We all go through the same things. We all don't get good hands in life. Most of us are battling things. Most of us go through depression. Most of us feel alone. Most of us feel stuck. And I just want to be the one that be out here to share my story, so y'all know that you're not alone. Nobody's alone. We all go through problems. We all face things. But it's about what you do when you get faced with an obstacle. There's a saying, you fall down 9 times, you get up 10. And there's another great saying that we live by in the one step community, that any step in the right direction, no, any step in any direction is the right direction, as long as all right, I'm gonna cut that. There's a great saying we live by in the one step community, that any step in any direction is the right direction, as long as there's good intention. And that's why I'm here to give y'all my story. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter what path you take. It doesn't matter which way you go. As long as you know in your heart and in your mind that you're going down the right path, that's all you need to do. You don't have to have your whole life figured out. You just need to have your next step. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to watch this. I appreciate everybody for showing love. And like I said, I'm here just to let y'all know y'all are not alone. We all face problems. We all go through problems. That's why I want to be here. You can come to me. You can DM me. You can comment, reach out, anything. And we'll be here to talk to y'all, give y'all advice, help out with anything you may need, because that's just what we do. And I'm encouraging y'all to take y'all first step, one step at a time. Like I said, it don't matter where you're going, as long as you take that step. That's all that matters. Because look at me. We all got to start somewhere. And that's why I'm here today. I'm not supposed to be here, but I am.